Welcome, to Declassified Tales. Today we dive into the mystery shadowing the coup against Iranian Prime Minister during the Cold War. Sit back, relax and enjoy. Hit the like button as this helps us. In 1953, a country, on the edge of the Middle East, would be thrust into the spotlight of the Cold War, where espionage, secrecy, and political maneuvering would change the course of its history and the world's. The operation was called Ajax, a covert CIA mission, but its impact would last long after its conclusion. Iran, a land of immense cultural richness, vast natural resources, and strategic importance, found itself at a crossroads. The rise of a nationalist leader, Mohammad Mossadegh, threatened to shake the very foundations of global power. Mossadegh's bold move to nationalize Iran's oil industry was seen as a defiant act that could shift the balance of the Cold War. But what followed was a dark chapter in international intrigue, one marked by deception, covert operations, and the orchestration of a coup that would alter the course of history. Mossadegh's rise to power had initially been welcomed in the West. Iran's oil industry had been dominated by foreign companies, particularly the British-owned Anglo-Iranian Oil Company. But Mossadegh, a man of conviction, sought to wrest control of Iran's most valuable resource back into the hands of his people. His nationalization of the oil industry was a blow not only to British economic interests, but also to the geopolitical ambitions of the United States. As tensions mounted, the American and British governments saw Mossadegh's moves as an existential threat. In the heat of the Cold War, both countries feared that Iran's nationalization could push it into the Soviet sphere of influence. Mossadegh's growing power was seen as a catalyst for Soviet expansion. Iran, sitting on the vast oil reserves, was a prize no superpower could afford to lose. In the shadows, a covert plan was already in motion. Codenamed Operation Ajax. The CIA and British intelligence agency MI6 set in motion one of the most audacious and controversial operations in modern history. It was a high-stakes game of manipulation, propaganda, and clandestine operations. The goal: remove Mossadegh from power and reassert Western influence in Iran. Operation Ajax was not just a political maneuver, it was an intricate web of deception and covert action. The CIA, under the leadership of Alan Dulles, partnered with MI6 to create a network of operatives on the ground, willing to use any means necessary to weaken Mossadegh's grip on power. In one of the first examples of modern-day fake news, the CIA would plant rumors, fabricate stories, and use psychological warfare to incite civil unrest in the streets of Tehran. The operation began with covert destabilization tactics. Street protests were incited, opposition groups were funded, and Mossadegh's government was undermined at every turn. But it wasn't enough. The CIA needed more, a final push to overthrow the prime minister. And that push would come through the use of Iran's own military. In Tehran, the CIA worked to bring key military figures to its side, promising them power and influence in the new Iran. General Fazlollah Zahedi, an ambitious officer, was persuaded to lead the charge in a military coup. With support from both the CIA and the British, Zahedi was positioned to become Iran's new leader. Mossadegh, who had once been celebrated as a hero, was now the target of a meticulously planned coup. On August 19, 1953, Operation Ajax reached its peak. The streets of Tehran were filled with confusion, chaos, and fear. The military took control of key government buildings, while anti-Mossadegh forces, armed with both propaganda and persuasion, rallied the masses. But the coup did not go as smoothly as planned. Mossadegh's loyalists fought back fiercely, and the operation teetered on the brink of failure. In a twist of fate, the tide would turn when the Shah of Iran, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, returned to the country with the backing of the CIA. With the Shah's return, the coup solidified its victory. Mossadegh was arrested, tried, and exiled. The Shah was reinstated as the ruler of Iran, now firmly in the control of Western powers. Operation Ajax had succeeded, but its consequences would ripple through history. In the years that followed, Iran would never be the same. The Shah's regime, now backed by the United States, would grow increasingly oppressive, leading to widespread dissatisfaction. By 1979, the Iranian people, disillusioned with their government, would rise up in revolution. The fall of the Shah would mark the beginning of the Islamic Republic, and the consequences of Operation Ajax would become painfully clear. The Iranian Revolution of 1979 would not only change Iran's future, but reshape the geopolitics of the Middle East. The US, once seen as a protector, was now perceived as an enemy. The legacy of Operation Ajax, an operation meant to preserve Western influence, had sowed the seeds of animosity and mistrust between Iran and the West. The operation, once shrouded in secrecy, would remain a dark chapter in the history of the United States and Iran. But its long-lasting effects can still be felt today, in the strained relations between the two nations, and the ongoing volatility in the Middle East. Operation Ajax is a stark reminder of the complexities of international power struggles, and the cost of covert interventions. In the end, the consequences of a single operation reverberated through decades, shaping not only the fate of Iran, but also the course of global history. Thanks for exploring history with us today. If you have enjoyed the journey so far, be sure to like, comment and subscribe for more stories that shape our world. Until next time, it's Declassified Tales.